Hello everyone. I'm just waking up. It's just starting to get bright outside. And as you can see, I'm in another apartment now. And it's a really good view here. Especially last night, it was all lit up. So I look forward to doing a video here at night as well. But yeah, I just woke up. It's, I think it's not even 7 a.m. yet here. And I wanted to do a video on why narcissists are so egotistical. A very important topic that really just sums everything up. But first, as always, let's do the little walk around and explore so you can see my surroundings. That building there, I think it's the second or third tallest building in the world. It's very big. And this is the apartment. As always, got another little room here. If anyone wants to come and stay, this can be your room. Kitchen. This is where I'm gonna sit today and record some videos. And sometimes when I'm working, I just like to lay on the couch. Don't worry about this, it's not real. Just one of Nala's toys. So let's talk about it. Why are narcissists so egotistical? I mean, if you look at it, it's not just narcissists. It's a lot of people in the world, and I think people's egos are really the cause of almost every problem we have in this world. I mean, if you look at the wars and online trolls, a lot of the things people say, hurtful things, I think it all comes back to ego. That's really what it is. People think that they are more important than someone else. Now, why do they think that? How do they end up thinking that they're more important? Now, this actually goes back to childhood. And I feel like I'm gonna sneeze, but I'm not. Yes, this goes back to childhood, and they experienced some form of abuse or neglect in their childhood. as we know, this is the cause of narcissism. So at some point they were abused or neglected, and they felt unimportant. So they are then in survival mode. Survival mode is pretty much just someone making themselves more important than anyone else, putting themselves first, maybe even stepping on other people to get ahead. So yeah, that just simplifies everything right there. I mean, they were traumatized in some way. And even if they were spoiled, that too is a form of abuse. And you may find that they were celebrated for accomplishments, but when they didn't do anything, they were put down. Oh, I knew I was gonna sneeze at some point. Hold on, just one moment. I'll be back now. Sorry about that, everyone. You know, that's actually the first time that's happened in live video, I believe. Oh, okay. Yes, that's really what it is. That's why they're so egotistical, is because at some point in their lives they were traumatized, they were abused or neglected, and it left them feeling unimportant. They weren't getting enough attention. So they felt the need to make themselves more important. Not so that they can give themselves what they need, which may be the case for some people, just not narcissists. But in their situation, it's more making themselves important so that they can get what they want from other people. And that's really the false self, isn't it? It's just someone who, for whatever reason, maybe they're more intelligent or attractive than other people. What it comes down to is they're more important. That's all it really is. And it's like, yeah, I'm more important than everyone else. Attend to me now. Attend to my needs. It's essentially they're still just that child, and they're like, look mum, look dad, look what I can do. And they're just, just trying to get their parents' attention that they never got. They're still in that state. And that's why they often just parentify everyone. Like even total strangers, they just want everyone to help them. They feel entitled to it. I mean, that's really why they're so egotistical. It's really just abuse. And that's why they think they deserve the best. They've got to have the best. And even when they've got it, then suddenly you're not good enough as well. All of these things really come from abuse. They're broken, damaged people. But when you see someone who has a big ego, you take it upon yourself. You look at yourself and you think, what's wrong with me? What did I say? What did I do? How can I be better? How can I make this person happy? That's often how we feel when we are in relationships with these egotistical narcissists. You know, that's how the dynamic works. We were taught to make everyone else more important than us, and they learn to make themselves the most important. Of course, there are occasions where you come across people in public, maybe someone cuts you up on the roundabout, and maybe you're not trying to please them. You might just think, God, what an asshole. Of course, there are situations like that too. And yeah, I mean, neither response is healthy, I guess. It's, you know, either extreme is not good. It shouldn't be, what can I do to help them? How can I save them? And it shouldn't be, fuck you, asshole. It shouldn't be either of that, really. I mean, it's about finding somewhere in the middle. It's about just having the awareness and recognizing it. Because we all have an ego. It's not just narcissists and toxic people. You have one, I have one. And in all honesty, as I've been making videos and growing on the channel, receiving hundreds of comments and emails every day, people telling me how great I am and I've changed their life. God, yeah, there's been times where I've let my ego get the better of me. And I think sometimes when I'm out in public, I'm like, how can you do that? Don't you know who I am? I'm Narc Survivor on YouTube. I demand better treatment. Yeah, I've had experiences like that. Sometimes, I mean, I think we all do, you know, when we feel like we're being pushed to the side. We may just go into that survival mode then, and we're like, you know, I want better. I demand more. And I think that can be healthy sometimes too. But then we also have to recognize where the other person is coming from. I mean, if you're experiencing the same situation with person after person, and it's not a smear campaign or gang stalking, then at some point you have to look at yourself and think, what am I doing? I'm obviously doing something wrong. I mean, many of you, I think, really need to look back and think, because many of you are still alone after a narcissistic relationship. And you may wonder why that is. You may be thinking, doesn't anyone want to be involved with you? Don't they want to spend time with you? Don't they want to go for a romantic long walk on the beach, holding hands? Don't they want to do that? And the real kicker is, if you really think back, I'm sure there were plenty of people who did want to do that with you. No one rejected you. You have been rejecting them the entire time, and you didn't even notice. Because in that moment, you felt like you were better than them. You felt like you deserved better because you've just come out of a narcissistic relationship and you don't want it to happen again. So now you're always kind of feeling like something's wrong. It can make you paranoid. It's like people can sense it. Normal people can sense it when you've been involved in something traumatic and you've got this big wall up, and you have this ego to protect you because it's for your survival. People can sense that, but they're not looking at it like, oh, you're hurt, you're recovering from something. They can't see that. All they see is this person who has a wall, who's closed off, who maybe you're healing, you're trying to make yourself better, and they just think, oh, you think you're better than me. Many of you are alone. For years after your relationship with a narcissist, and you think that people don't want to be with you. But when you really introspect and you look within, the shocking truth is that you may find it was you. You were the one pushing people away. And if you experienced childhood trauma, you may have been pushing people away your entire life to protect yourself. And it may not be as people think. You think you're better than other people. I mean, that's more on the narcissistic side of the spectrum. For you, it's more, you may fear intimacy. You may fear being taken advantage of again. But people don't see that. People can't always recognize that. And naturally, for anyone, when someone feels rejected, it makes them angry. If you look back, I'm sure you'll see it many times that Maybe someone wanted a little more from you, a little more of your time. And you were in a hurry, and they felt rejected by you. Because what you find is, after being involved with a narcissist, we stop putting so much of our focus into other people's situations and what they want, what they expect from us. We do become more self-absorbed ourselves. We do begin to, although we still have empathy, we may lack empathy as part of our survival. I mean, this is normal. You know, that is to protect ourselves. But it won't go to the extent of making us narcissists. That's something that only happens in childhood. But it's actually a very similar process to what made the narcissist the narcissist. They experienced abuse or neglect, and they just shut themselves off from the world, and they just felt like I'm not unimportant. No, actually, I'm more important than anyone. I'm better than everyone. And actually, you don't want me? No, I don't want you, because I'm better than you. That's pretty much what is going on in the narcissist mind all day, every day. They are fighting a battle, and that is why you can't get through to them, because they can't reflect on that. They're so locked into the zone of the false self, and it's all really just to protect themselves, because it hurt so much for them in their childhood. And yeah, I mean, you know, I have empathy. I empathize with everyone, including narcissists. Of course, it must have been so painful for them. You know, just think about it. It's one thing to be rejected by a boy or a girl that you like, but imagine being rejected by your own parents. Of course, that would make you shut yourself off from the world. If you can't trust your own parents, who the hell can you trust? So yeah, it's no wonder that they are the way that they are. But at some point, they were meant to self-reflect. And that time may have been when they were a little older, maybe in their teenage years. They should have started to gain more awareness of themselves and their minds, and just realize that, no, this isn't serving me anymore. They should have been able to just go out more into the world and meet new people and realize that they can let their guard down and let people in. But that never happened for them. It's so sad. But by understanding this process, we can learn more about the process that happens with us following our relationship with the narcissist, because it's actually very similar. It's just not at that level of being rejected by your own parents. That's something else. But yeah, I mean, when we've been rejected and discarded, It's like we take a little injury of our own and we try to protect ourselves from being hurt again. And it's kind of like we already reject ourselves. I mean, everyone desires connection, intimacy, all of these things. This is normal. But sometimes we reject ourselves. We do, because we're afraid, we're insecure. We think, what if they don't like us? Or maybe they like me now, but what if they spent a day, a week with me? They probably wouldn't like me then. We just don't want to go through that again, do we? Some of us, I think, we just feel like we're doomed. We have giveabitis. We just think that, so what if I met this really great man or woman? Seems like they could be what I'm looking for, what I wanted. But how is that going to turn out in a couple of weeks, a couple of months? Maybe it's just going to end up like the last one did. Or maybe they're going to see what a horrible mess I am underneath after everything I've been through. And actually, you know what? I don't want them to see that. I'd rather they just see this. I look good on the outside. I take care of myself. I want them to remember me like that, rather than seeing everything else that may not be desirable, because I don't want to be rejected again. I don't want to go through that. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Because this is what makes us so similar. Narcissists, codependents, victims, survivors, empaths. That's what makes us all so similar, because we all have these thoughts. It's just with narcissists, it's more unconscious. They can't really reflect in it like we can. And if you brought this information to them, they would either just laugh at it, or they would get angry, or they would say, no, that's you. You have these problems. I don't have to deal with that. But this is really it for pretty much everyone in the world. We've all been hurt at some point. And that may be by people in our relationships. It could even just be our family or friends. We've experienced rejection and abandonment. I think for anyone, that's one of the most painful things you can go through. So of course, it's going to make you close yourself off. You're going to want to hide yourself away from the world because you don't want to go through that again. But you know what? Life is just a journey of experiences. I mean, we can't just sit in a padded room for the rest of our lives. Yeah, we may survive that way, but what kind of a life is that? And that's why even though when you drive a car, there is a risk that you may get into a car accident, but you still get in that car, even though it's far more dangerous than getting on a plane. You still drive. And it's the same thing with relationships. Even though, yes, there is a chance that you may end up with another narcissist or toxic person, you still go out there and try. If it happens again, fine, that's another experience. Another lesson learned, more wisdom, more knowledge. Heshmat says, yes, I like to be with people, but to be careful. And that's it. You know, of course, you don't just, when you're driving, you don't just, you don't drive when you've drunk alcohol or when you're texting on your phone. You know, you use common sense, of course. But it doesn't mean that you just abstain from the activity completely. You just use caution. But yeah, this thing with narcissists being so egotistical, what it really comes down to is just a fear of rejection and abandonment, which essentially is a fear of them not getting their needs met, which goes back to their childhood. And yeah, it's sad. You know, we should have compassion for them. I mean, somewhere in there is still just this child who maybe was hungry and wasn't fed, maybe didn't have the right support and encouragement in school, maybe just didn't have anyone to talk to when they were feeling down. I think that's really sad. I do. I don't think anyone should have to go through that. And that's why even though I make these videos, of course, I do have compassion for narcissists. because they never asked to be treated that way. And at that age, how do you know how to respond to it? No one ever told you what to do, no one guided you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's why they're so egotistical. It's a front. They don't really think that they're superior, they're the best. They deserve whatever they want. It's more they just feel small, unimportant. They're hurt. And when you realize that, it can make you move through the world a lot better as well. Even if you're not dealing with a full-blown narcissist, it might just be someone you see in public and they may seem narcissistic, toxic. Knowing these things can help you to deal with them effectively. The problem is that we now see a lot these days is that they never really learned that empathy thing, because no one ever showed empathy for them, no one was ever there for them, so they just shut that part of them off. And even now you feel like you can't connect to them, you can't get through to them. Even when you try to give them love and compassion, they can't receive it. The only thing they can really receive is superficial things. Things that exist on the surface. Which is tragic, again, of course. I mean, the very things that they actually need are what their disorder has been programmed to block and deny the most. Love. They can't receive love. It's crazy, but that's just how it is for them, and it will never change. They can't receive your love. The only thing they can really receive is compliments or praise to their false self. And that's about it. And that's why you see these days, people are being exploited, people are being used, whether it's for money or sex. You wonder why. You think, oh, why would you do that to me? Don't you want something more? You don't want a relationship, a connection. You don't want to build something together. And not only that, but you faked all of that. You faked liking me and having an interest in building something just so you could get money or sex. And do you think, how could someone do that to you? Well, the truth is, they couldn't experience anything more even if they tried. They can't receive love, that's why. deep down they know that. And they also feel like they can't be loved too. So of course they settle for the scraps. They just settle for things that are not as valuable. They settle for money or sex, superficial things, because they can't experience love anyway. Not real love. They can't give love, they can't receive love. So naturally all they can do is just use you. And yet we wonder why. We wonder why they do that. But yeah, there it is. I just had to put it out there. Anyway, 40 minutes. This has been a very deep video, especially for this time of the morning. I just want to show the view here again before I go. The sun is just rising now. That's the second or third tallest building in the world. It's really big. Everyone's heading to work. The roads are very busy in the city at this time of day. When I wake up in the morning, I remember to practice gratitude. And I look out the window, wherever I am, and I think, there's thousands of people driving to work at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. And I'm so lucky that I can just relax in an apartment with Nala. And I just sit down and work on my laptop, doing something that I'm passionate about. I mean, of course, that's not the case for everyone who's driving to work early in the morning. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are passionate about their jobs and, they could be driving to work very happy and looking forward to it. But yeah, I think most people, they're not really happy with their jobs and they hate getting up early in the morning. And yeah, it just reminds me to feel grateful, because I can just relax in my apartment because I work from my laptop. Makes me realize how fortunate I am, because I prefer that than going out early and it's cold, driving to work, and then you've got to sit at a desk for like 9 hours a day. Not something I could really enjoy or feel passionate about. And that's why I inspire all of you to start your own business, your own YouTube channel. Find things that you're passionate about and share them with the world. It's more fulfilling for me anyway. And yeah, I do offer one-on-one YouTube coaching. So if you're interested in that and you'd like to do what I do, maybe one day you could be traveling the world and staying in different hotels and condos, trying different foods, exploring different places, and just sitting at home, working on your laptop, just uploading videos, only having to work for maybe a couple of hours a day, and yeah, it gives you a lot of free time. If that's something that you would like to do, I am available to help you get to that point, and I can guide you the entire way. It's not just about giving you the tools, it's the guidance too. So yeah, I can be there for you from when you have 0 views, 0 subscribers, like we all started off with, and I can still be there even when you get 1,000 subscribers, 10,000. I can be there all the way. And there's nothing that really makes me happier than seeing people happy, seeing other people's success. And that lets me know that I'm doing good, I'm doing right. So yeah, if you're interested in that, in a one-on-one YouTube coaching package, just send me an email, coaching@narcsurvivor.co.uk. I look forward to working with you. Anyway, the sun is rising behind me, as you can see. That means it's time for me to start work. So, thank you all for joining me, and I look forward to talking with you in another live video very soon. Please give this video a thumbs up. Talk to you in the next